Welcome to the Mean Green Show. Welcome to the Mean Green Show.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Mean Green Show. Welcome to the
What up, what up, what up, what up? Was you about to do a clap, Jay?
Yeah.
Do it. Hey. All right, man. Welcome to the Mean Green Show podcast. Today, I have my brothers in.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, starting with J Money.
J Money. I'm J Money today.
You forgot your name?
J Money.
And then we have.
Cristian.
Did you hesitate?
A little bit.
Everybody's like,
AKA the guy at the front desk that you'll see.
Front
Each
desk.
time
AKA
that you go.
and coach though.
And coach.
You
Hey.
definitely.
And coach.
This is where y'all applaud. If y'all train with my boy. Comment down below. Say he's been rocking it, man.
Appreciate y'all.
adjustments.
Adjustments. That's what we've been talking about, right?
Adjustments.
So he's adjust from the front desk to actually being now a coach and
Yeah.
amongst other things. So this one is unique because this was supposed to be a 5-week series podcast. We're actually going to bump it up to 6 weeks for specific reasons. And we'll let you know when it's time to let you know why we did that. But this is a week of adjustments for today's podcast. And we don't have a title. So you know what the title of it is going to be? You know what the title is going to be?
I'm ready to be mind blown.
No, this is a title. Drum roll. No title.
Oh, my God.
That's the only thing I can come up with.
I'm just as disappointed as y'all right now.
All right, second disclaimer. I heard I've been smacking, and today I'm actually going to eat. I'm eating today, so I love y'all. All right, so this is the way we're going to do the podcast. I've had, Christian and I talk all the time. I know you guys talk all the time. So this one's going to be cool because we know each other well. We get to communicate, but this is going to be the first time where me and Jared, I guess maybe second time because Erica and Wes came on. But Jared, we're just going to kind of take a back seat today, and we're going to let Christian lead it.
Ooh.
All right? So, Christian, with the subject title being adjustments, and you're able to be on the plyo box between Jared and I,
All right.
we giving you the mic. You can ask me and Jared whatever you want, and we're here just to answer and eat.
Man. Okay. All right.
Y'all want any?
No, no.
Okay.
I'm going to wait till later, though. I'm going to let you eat a little bit.
All right.
So you can get. I guess my first question, as far as anything else, and I know, Chris, again, we've talked on that fitness journey. And I guess my biggest question was, what was a big adjustment from you starting out just at a park by yourself, collecting people, and then just building this beautiful
Oh, well, thank you.
establishment that we're in right now?
Give him a payroll. Raise his pay up. Great question for adjustments, right? I think the biggest thing that I had to do, it's a very loaded question, for the gym was step back. I had to step back a lot
Okay.
from being on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I love training, and you guys have heard Jared and I talk about this numerous amount of times about me training between 12 to 16 hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
For us to grow into multiple gyms and leading up to even more, there was no way I can do that being on the floor, not being able to take calls, emails, going to different establishments to make those relationships. So stepping back would probably be number one. And then number two, the biggest adjustment, especially for boot camp, was not to listen to anybody that told me I couldn't do it. Like, it was so many people
Right.
on the route, on the way, that was in the fitness game longer than me.
Right.
And at that time, personal trainers was more just bodybuilding training. you
Right.
know. We'll do different movements on the same muscle group 3-4 times and hit it 8 to 12 reps each. Get on the treadmill, the Stairmaster, 10,
Right.
15 minutes, and then leave. That was kind of training in 2007 to 2010, right? So when I brought that approach of, more I wouldn't even say that type of training. It was just more strength endurance training
Mhm.
at the park, 18 to 20 reps, a lot of reps, a lot of conditioning. Everybody told me I could never build a model based upon that.
Right.
And those trainers, it's funny now because they're not training now. It's interesting to see that. But I would say go against the odds and do what people told me I couldn't do.
Right.
That's what I believed.
Right. And I think what I've kind of seen just from me being here and then the podcast with West and Erica is just more so what I like about this establishment is the interpersonal with the training. Like, you're building that relationship with that member, and that's usually what drives them to come back. You give them the techniques, they're paying to come and work out, but more also they're like, man, I get to see Chris, I get to see Jared, because I know that's what would bring me back each time. And then when I got the opportunity to actually be a part of the team,
Yeah.
I didn't hesitate. I was like, sign me up.
Easy.
It was like, part-time, I don't care what
Yeah.
I got to do to come in and different other stuff.
I think that also happens because when you work 12 to 16-hour days, you want to be around people that you want to talk to and communicate with. So for me specifically, you got to imagine if I'm doing a boot camp, 4 or 5 boot camps a day. Let's just say I did morning, afternoon, and evening. That's 3. 2 private groups, that's 5, and the rest of the day was personal training. Like, I cannot sit there and not be a people's person. I can't sit there and just look at them and count 1 rep, 2 rep. Like,
Right.
that would be, I couldn't do that for years at a time. So
Right.
for me, it was just about building a relationship. And I always said this, and it says it in our manual, you know, if you have a friend and create a friend, if they ever want to invest into training, they'll probably want to train with a friend versus someone they don't know.
Right.
So I always took that concept.
Yeah. And that's what's kind of helped me out to make this adjustment and transition from that front desk, knowing people already, and then just being comfortable enough to be like, hey, guys, you know, I'm not signing you in anymore. I'm actually going to walk you through the actual workout itself. But, Jay, I guess question for you, because I know we've touched on it a base too. You coming from college and coming back and making that adjustment, coming back to Mean Green and being able to kind of lead and then do boot camps. What was the big adjustment from, I guess, a gym-based setting than just going straight into just boot camps and leading that overall?
Chris says it all the time, man. When I first came back, it was I 100% thought I was just straight gonna be in the gym, and then obviously with our goals and what I had set out, Chris was like, okay, well, you need to do boot camp. So I was like, okay, like, you know, I was ready to do what I needed to do. So I immediately had to kind of adjust my thought process, obviously, because I thought I was going to be coming and leading gym workouts. Gym workouts, from what I understood, were already programmed. I was just basically following a system.
Right.
So that's kind of what I was expecting.
Right.
And then when I came, it was kind of like, no, you're going to do boot camp, and in boot camp, you have the reins, and you're basically building your own business through Mean Green.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. So so the adjustment there, I don't know. It was motivating. I'll say that.
Right.
Because, again, I went from just having to operate under a system to almost building my own system
Right.
through boot camp. So I think that was exciting for me.
Uh-huh.
And just having the goals that I do have for myself, being able to go through that process, I think is really helping me, because I'm still adjusting. I adjust every day
Right.
as far as trying to, you know, build and grow the boot camp. So I
Right.
can't say I made this big adjustment and now I'm here. Like, I'm still adjusting.
What do you think was on the other side of adjustment if you didn't?
If I didn't adjust,
Mm-hmm.
no, I would have failed. I failed. I'm gonna be honest with y'all on the Mean Green show.
Oh.
Hold up.
The first time I did boot camp, I was half in, half out. So this, I don't even know if Chris, I don't think I told you this. I don't think I told you this. But the first time I did boot camp, I started it. Chris is kind of, you know, showing me a little bit of the way, and I was doing Spots Park.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah, like
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
So I was just giving it a go for the first time. We had a conversation then, and it was like, you know, we talked about goals and whatnot. And again, he gave that. He was like, hey, let's try boot camp out. So I remember I went through it, and then I did a boot camp explosion. And I remember that boot camp explosion. I had 5 people show up, 1 new person. Everybody else was either an old member, and then one of them was my aunt. So I had 5 people show up. And then after that, just, I won't even lie to you, it was pure lack of effort. I was focused on trying to go play football. So pure lack of effort. Like, I think I did maybe 2 more boot camps, and then after that, nobody was showing up. And I wasn't walking the streets. I wasn't sending out any posts. Nobody showed up, and that was that. So second time around, obviously with boot camp there and knowing what I didn't do then, I was adamant about that not being the outcome this time. Like that was not going to be the outcome this time. So I said I had my heart set on. I think one of the biggest things that helped me was seeing where boot camp was.
Okay.
Because then I had for myself to make any adjustment I needed to make to get it back there, and that's still my goal. I want to get there and even surpass it. So,
Absolutely. What do you think, Christian? Hearing that coming to the game, fresh. Do you think it should be cookie cutter, where it's like everything needs to be given to me, or is it more like, man, getting into the fitness space, I will have to make continuous adjustments? Is going forward, because I'm telling you that now, I'm telling you that now, and I'm telling everybody, especially that's in any type of trainer role, nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same.
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
And I mean, it's said all the time. Even back in 2020, the fitness game had to change completely because we were shut down. You were working out at home, mental, physically. You had to challenge yourself to try to even want to go do something, to be in that communication. So then they had like Zoom calls, Teams meetings, all this other stuff. You can log in here and we'll put you through a workout to be able to do that. So I feel like, and you've said this plenty of times, there's a foundation blueprint of certain things that you can follow, but you have to adjust according in the years
Yeah, absolutely.
on how you're going to take that and be successful within your times, because like I said, it's never ever going to be the same.
And you're okay with that?
I don't think I'll ever be okay with it, but I think with me being not incontent with the change, but being okay and aware that, okay, this is going to change. I'm aware of it, but
So
let me
not
settle in.
blindsided.
Yeah, let me settle in. Let me know what I don't know what the change is going to be. Tomorrow, we could be there could be a new technology that just got invented, busted out. Somebody could pay millions or thousands of dollars,
Yep.
say, I don't need a gym membership anymore. But again, it's what I feel that is resonating in me that I'm very, very confident in is the way that I know how to connect with people and the way that I can, be able to talk but learn and adjust, because like I said, I'm fresh in the game. There's a lot that Jay knows about warm-ups, everything, techniques that I don't even know. There's a lot that you've been doing for years that I don't know, but it's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be a change that I have to adapt with, that I have to be able to keep rolling with and not just lay over and say, hey, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. I'm just going to walk out.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What else you got? We here, man. We here.
I have one question, but it's going to be towards the end to be like kind of like a ball dropper. But the next one is, I guess, the adjustment as far as, I guess, with you itself, Chris. I know you have to adjust to a lot of things in your life right now. You have to do father, coach, boss man, other entrepreneur, different other things. What are some of the things that help, key things in your everyday life that help you adjust, that kind of are not repetitive, but kind of like, okay, this is what's helping me at that time with my routine in order to play these factors? What are some key aspects that you can help some people to be able to kind of like balance that out with these adjustments?
Continuing education. For me, I love music. Right? But when I get in the car, I don't listen to it. And my commute typically is between 40 to 50 minutes. So I can listen to whoever's hot right now, or I can go to Pandora to something that's in the archive, right?
Right.
And great, I get to the destination and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, if I can take an hour and a half, 90 minutes a day and learn something that I didn't know, I'm going to get a different perspective. And a lot of the transitions that I probably made in the last 5 years came from a podcast. It came from a book that I read, or maybe a motivational speaker that, posted whatever.
Right.
So for me, I think that gives me insight. One of the podcasts that I really like, I can't think of the title of it, but it's Jamal and Eric Thomas. They have a podcast, and it's not built upon just motivational speaking. It's just their life and what they dealt with the previous week. And sometimes they're all business savvy, and then sometimes they like I used the word convicted a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to continue to use it. They feel convicted because of things they did with their family or didn't do with their family. So sometimes when I hear their perspective, I'm mean green all day, right? But then it's sometimes where I'm like, okay, let me stop. Let me go be a dad. Let me stop. Let me go celebrate our 8th year anniversary or whatever it is. So to answer your question, man, I think continuing education, not knowing that I don't know everything, is golden for me.
Right.
Plus, being able to see Lynn Twin over there pop his muscles out. Yeah.
That boy out there, man.
Yeah.
That boy got back abs, front abs,
Back
all this other
abs.
stuff.
We got abs on abs.
Abs on abs, man,
And
just
I
popping
also
out.
feel like Money Dame is judging me when I drink from this bottle. Tina bought it for me, y'all.
Oh yeah. She got you right. She's
She
ready.
got you right,
All
man. She just got all the accessories.
Tina is all accessories, dog.
That's funny.
Hey,
That's good.
Chris always got his backpack with all the other things. She's like, "You got everything?" Yeah, I do.
I'm gonna still leave something. I'd like to hear Jared's response to the same question.
Yeah, Jay, what is something, because you building around with your commute too, having to go from north side to Humboldt, to Herman, to back here, to train PTs, all that other stuff. What are some things, key aspects or strengths that help you with your adjustments, routine-wise or anything?
I think one of the I do very similar thing. I try to listen to books, podcasts, anything I can in car rides just to help me with perspective.
Right.
Some books I've read have just helped me tremendously. Not with necessarily motivation, but with where I'm directing my energy. So, but I would say one of the biggest things for me, and it's kind of a thin line, because you tell people not to worry about anybody else, but for me, because I still feel like I'm such a baby in the game, like I'm still learning everything, that I'm looking, like I'm looking at other people, I'm seeing what they're doing.
Right.
But what I'm not doing is comparing. I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody, but I am observing.
That's
Right.
good.
So I am observing what people are doing right, what people are doing wrong, and I know that for
That's good.
everybody has that where they're at professionally, where they're at financially, spiritually, everything is different for everybody.
Yeah.
I know where I'm at, and
Yeah.
for me, like whenever it comes to people making professional moves, whether it be through finance, like I'm observing that, and basically how can I adapt that for what I can do right now. And for people that are on different platforms, how can I adapt that to where, like, I like what they're doing, how can I do that?
Right.
So when it comes to the adjustments that I'm making, I base it around that. So if there's, hey, Chris being a father right now, like, I'm not a father, but I can look and see, like, that's something that I want. That's something that I don't want. That's something that I aspire to be that. I don't really want to be part of that. So that's me right now. I'm just a baby. I'm learning the world, and I'm trying to pick and choose. I'm just being a sponge to everything around me. So that's kind of how I'm making my adjustments right now.
Man.
Well said.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that biggest thing about comparison, because I feel like that's, and every day that's just what a lot of people deal with. I know personally, me, myself, I'm going to come in and be like, being in a gym atmosphere, you want to compare yourself to be like, dang, I want to be able to lift that one day. I want to be able to
I can see that easily.
do a pull-up or do a curl or do a push-up, no assistance, all this other stuff. But like Jay said it best, you're in your own lane. You're at your own journey.
Yeah.
You're in your own shoes. Not a lot of people can fit your shoes. Not a lot of people are going to be able to know what the wear and tear on
I
what
like that.
you had to deal with, right? So, yeah, same thing. You're picking correct characteristics, traits. I want to aspire to be like that. I don't want to be like that. I want to aspire to be like that, because in the end game, I want to take my result, be able to kind of shift it out and being like, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
It's not anybody else.
I
You know?
like that. Well said.
Yeah.
What do y'all think when it comes to adjustments? Do you make an adjustment from sitting back and acknowledging and noticing things, or should you make adjustments with not knowing anything?
I forgot the saying. You say it all the time.
Uh-oh.
It's like basically making action without a plan, or
Okay.
making action without a vision.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think if you're able to see some of the things that you want, and like this is what I want. This is the end goal. I see it.
Yeah.
I think making adjustments off that, isn't bad. I think it's okay to walk in here and see somebody pushing 315 and being like, dang,
Yeah.
I want to push 315.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you know what the end goal is. Now how do you get there?
Right.
So now we can actually make a plan, make adjustments to figure out how we can adjust to get to a new goal we've set out based on something we've seen.
That's dope.
So I'm not comparing. I'm not saying, oh dang, he could lift 315 and I can't.
Right.
Not worried about that. He can lift 315. That look cool. I want to do it. How do I do it?
Boom.
Right.
Make the
Right.
adjustment. I like that. What you got, Christian?
I guess this is what my grandma used to tell me all the time.
Mhm.
She tells us in Spanish though. I don't know if it was just
Say it in
to admit
Spanish.
that. Nah.
Come on, bro.
Listen, Spanish listeners
You
out there,
good, bro.
man.
You good.
I want to hear
Hey,
Spanish,
they
bro.
got the SAP button on the YouTube. They be
Okay.
able to do that. Oh no, she used to tell me all the time. Tell my cousins. She would say, you learn more when you talk less. By that, when she meant was a lot of the times and lessons that she wanted us to learn, whether it was in the church, spiritually, or around others. Like you're learning, whether it's right or wrong. You're learning whether you're talking less. You're visualizing and you're seeing something and saying, "Hey, that's wrong," or "Hey, that was the right thing to do." And then you take that, you let it sit, analyze it, and then that'd be a contributing factor to your growth as a person tomorrow. So,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wise grandmothers, man.
Wise grandmothers, man. They cook for you and they give you stories, man. So
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So
What else you got? You run out of questions?
nah, man.
Oh, yeah.
I was,
See, when you get the lights on you, it's kind of like, oh, snap.
I'm like, we live now, so I get to ask Chris whatever he wants, and he has to
yeah.
answer. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm with
that. I guess the next thing, if we're talking about adjustments, and as far as something, I guess, getting a little bit more personal, have y'all ever had an adjustment knock you down so hard that you really had to analyze whether to get back up or not?
It's a really good question. Who goes first?
I'll let Jay go first. Since Chris has been going first the whole time, I'll let Jay go first.
Yes.
I was ready for Chris.
That's typically the trick. Whenever you're on a podcast or show and you say, who answer first, the host is kind of like, oh, we'll let them. So,
Well, I mean, we've talked about my most major ones on the show quite a bit. Oddly enough, when I was trying to figure out my career, that's the one that knocked me down the hardest. To where I felt like, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as I keep moving, I'm gonna get back up. But to see an end to it was kind of rough for me because
Right.
it looked so bleak.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's crazy to me because the one that I would think would knock me down to where I felt like I wouldn't get up is my knee, because I tore my ACL my sophomore year in high school, and then I tore my ACL my junior year in high school, and then I was getting scholarship offers, and then everything was looking good, and then 5 games into my senior season, I tear my ACL again. So you would think like that would be the one that killed me, right? Like that just knocked me out.
Right.
Screw it, I'm done with sports. I'm gonna go to college just to be a student, get a job, live my life. But for me, it's actually kind of hard to think about. I was actually sitting in the car. What was it, like last week? And I was driving. I think I called you and you didn't answer.
oh, crap.
But no, it was a good thing. I think
Bad.
God did it on purpose. Because
Bad friend.
I wanted to say something to you, but I couldn't. And as I was, driving, I was thinking, and I was like, damn, I wish I could go back in time and say thank you to that kid. Like, I really do. Just because I don't know what was in me at that point in time, but there was never a point in time where I was like, no, I have to adjust my life. I can't play football anymore. Like, never. I was just like, oh, well, tear it. Here we go again. Let's get back in that weight room. When can I start PT? I'm ready. Like, I was just ready. There was no adjustment to be made other than, all right, I got to change the way I work out.
Straight into it.
But when it came to the career, I was lost. I was really like, dang.
Right.
And maybe it's because I put so much into football that now that I'm actually considering football no longer being, a vital part of my life, maybe that's the part that made it so hard for me. Like, I'm like, oh, crap. Like, what?
Wow.
So,
man.
yeah, that would be my biggest adjustment that I really had to scrap and claw my way out of.
And here you are.
And
Yep,
here
here we are.
I
And
like that.
as long as I've known Jared, I've only known him for like year, half,
That's it.
or so. Yeah, only that, man.
Like best friends.
I feel
Best
like it should be
friends,
like
man.
10.
Like best friends, man. Not as long as I've known Jared. Jared is Mr. Cool Guy. You can't see him whether he wants to make an adjustment on something. He's just like,
Cool and calm.
all right, what's next? What are we doing? What's the plan? What are we gonna do? And I see that, that was being your strength to be able to overcome that. So that's dope, man. That's
Appreciate
really
that, boss.
cool.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
For me, I feel like I want to share something new. Like I've talked about back injuries, my mother, even the business side, dealing with COVID and some other challenges.
Yeah.
I think one thing that knocked me on my butt, that's still fitness. Okay. I love my wife.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Tina.
She bought
Shout
me
out
this
to
water
Tina.
bottle. And if she's on, I'm asking for grace because I didn't get permission to say what I'm about to say.
She also brought us a cord for audio
She did.
that would have been
Yeah.
bad if we didn't have.
I'll be gadgets.
She's
An
just there.
extra. Mrs. Gadget, right?
Mrs. Gadget.
No, it's important for me to give her a shout out as I say this because marriage is a thing that is so beautiful, man, and it gets a bad rap
Mhm.
for whatever reasons, through some people's success and through some people's failure, right?
Right.
And I know this platform for this show is built upon fitness and the things it's been off to, but for me, part of growing and getting knocked down and getting up, I think you're built also in other areas outside of fitness.
Right.
Like Jared just talked about overcoming not being in his blueprint of life and the adjustment he made to get to where he's at now.
Yeah.
Right. So the adjustment that I have now, not just as a fitness trainer, not just as an entrepreneur in fitness, but just as a man, I want to say my first year in marriage, man, I got knocked down on my butt hard. It was one of those things where you paint a picture of what you think marriage should look like and how it should be done and what you seen growing up, and then you get married and it's nothing like the way you thought it was gonna be, right? So and it's vice versa, because the way that she thought marriage was going to be, it was totally different. So you got these two people that had this perspective of what marriage and what perfect marriage looks like, and you had this illusion that you thought the other person was going to fit that description. And when that doesn't happen, man, that's hard.
Yeah.
Because I had a girlfriend in the past where it didn't work out, and you like, I'm going home. Right? Sick of this. I'm deleting you from, at my time, MySpace or whatever the page was, right? You can't do that when you're married. You can't do that when you have kids.
Right.
So at that moment, man, the way that we had to get back up was communication. Getting someone outside of her and I, and you definitely don't go to family, right? Family don't know that you knocked on your butt in marriage. Like, it's really important. If you hear me on that, like, keep your family out your relationship. Trust me. Not that I had bad experience. I'm just from people that I know. But we were able to go get guidance and wisdom, and we were able to open up that dialogue to really communicate on things that maybe it's kind of hard to kind of present your topic when it might hurt someone else's feelings. And for her and I to do that, I'm so grateful for her now. The appreciation that I have for her now, I believe, grows every day because of those times that were challenging that we were able to conquer.
Right.
So we celebrated 8 years last week, and it's like, man, we had so many times and opportunities to quit. We had so many opportunities and times where we were hurt or didn't go our way or whatever reason, right? Somehow, some way, we figured out how to get each other up. And because of that, I believe we set the example, not just for our household, for the twins, but for you guys, right? There's so many people that come to me. It's been people that come to me and be like, man, you and Tina got it. Man, I want to, man, y'all marriage look awesome. I'm like, dog, y'all should have seen what happened yesterday. I'm joking at the same time, but there's a truth to every joke. But I'm saying that to say, with all respect to my wife, I believe she would say the same thing. Man, we've had some times, but looking back at that time, it wasn't even a big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? We conquered it, and now we can help someone else if they happen to go through the same thing. We can say, hey, I remember when, but very loaded answer, man. But I wanted to give you guys something really personal for me.
Right.
And again, I would not be who I am as a leader, as a brother, as a boss, as a whatever, if it wasn't for those sequences like that with my wife that we conquered.
Can I ask you a feedback question off of your answer?
All right, here we go.
The thing, so this is.
Am I sweating?
A little bit. You can't see it.
For those that are watching. All right.
So this is just honestly, I've never been married. Kind of just asking a married man question.
Same.
The things, just because you said you guys kind of got flat within the first year of marriage, but how long were y'all together prior to?
3 years.
So from
Wow.
in 3 years you guys were okay, but then in that very first year of actually being married, things drastically changed like that. Like so.
I would say, yes, it did. Now, remember, man, when anytime somebody, it's like working out, right? If somebody came in here and didn't warm up for their workout, and then they did the whole strength segment, and then they did the whole conditioning, and then on the last one, they did their last burpee and they pulled it back. They'd be like, oh, man, that last burpee, man, I shouldn't have did that burpee. It was the burpee that hurt me. No, it probably wasn't a burpee. It probably was everything that led up to the burpee and what you did prior to the burpee, right? So we remember the sequences that we got into it about, but it probably was some junk in the trunk before we even got there,
Built
up.
right?
Yeah.
So I would say for the 3 years, right, you're totally honeymoon stage, right? You, again, if I got mad, if Tina said something to me and I wasn't feeling it, and I'm riding in the car with her, we just came back from the movies. I'm like, oh, you got that little lean. And I'm leaning, and she say something. She like, ugh, you need to get a haircut. Or, ooh, I don't like them shoes you wearing today. I'd be like, cool, I'm going to take her home. And she'll go home, and I go back home. But it's different when you're married because when you get into it, like, you sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah.
And then it's really a bad thing to go to sleep mad at someone, right?
Right.
But if you're like me, I don't want to communicate. I know the Bible says that. I don't want to communicate before I go to sleep. Like, leave me alone. Shut up, right?
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with someone stubborn as me, it's difficult. But I will say this, man. I never lived with a woman ever in my life until I met Tina.
Right.
And even when we got engaged, we didn't live with each other. I mean, we'll spend a night here and there, or a lot, but it wasn't until like a month, just because the house got built a month prior to us got married. I remember like hesitating, like, okay,
Yeah.
can we do that? Are we grown enough to do that? But the 3 years prior, it's the Mean Green Show.
Let's go.
Tina and I never got into it, and if you know Tina, she's a help me. Like, she just wants to help everything, help you on everything. So I love that about her, and I think life. This is why I probably shouldn't say this because it has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about with fitness.
Go ahead, bro.
But maybe an adjustment.
Yeah.
When life situations happen, it mature you a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
Right. So I met Tina, and then the next year my mother died. So like maybe that dating experience would have went another direction, but then stuff got really serious. She's seen me in a way that nobody never saw me.
Yeah.
Right. So like when a man shows you vulnerability and other things that they never show you, you gain a sense of a strength of love for them and appreciation. So instead of that being another year, that you took a year off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just other things that was layered into just that specific situation. She lost both her grandparents within a year when she moved here. Oh, we cut layers off because now I'm seeing sides of her that she never showed anybody. So I think, man, and I don't wish this on anybody, right? But I do believe when life situations happen, it does intensify the maturity of the relationship.
Right. Oh man, I aspire to be like you and Tina, man.
Hey.
Nah, I see a lot. I see a lot within. I see a lot within that, and to go along with what you said, like life does mature people a lot quicker. Once that hits, you can either lay there, just count your days and just hope that tomorrow comes a lot quicker or something
Absolutely.
else or different other things, man. But that's good you said that about communication and everything else, though, because not a lot of people want to do that, man.
I ain't doing it. When I'm mad, I'm mad. But I do as I say, not as I do, guys.
Don't talk to me.
I'm working on it. Good questions. What you got?
Oh, man.
I got a question for both of y'all.
What's up?
Talking adjustments.
Let's go.
Because I had one. So when was the last time you was like, I'm making an adjustment, and you made it? Like right then and there.
Last time I made an adjustment. Actually,
Just
about
quick answer.
Last week.
Last
weeks
week. Last week
ago.
for you and 2 weeks for you.
2 weeks ago.
Are we open to saying what it was?
Oh, yeah.
What was last week?
Oh, snap. I was making adjustments okay. Christian, what was your adjustment?
What was your adjustment? Think about it.
Leaving my main job.
Leaving your main job. Okay, that's a good one. That's going to be really good, actually. That's going to be a really good one.
Leaving
You
my
did that
main
last
job.
week?
I did, man, but I'm getting a new job though, my new main job. But leaving my main job last week was even before I had actually finally got my actual offer in print.
You still was
But
leaving.
I was still leaving.
Hold on, because you're going into my point.
I got you.
You're going into my point. You're going into my
I
point.
got you.
So 2 weeks ago, you
Yeah.
said that you were leaving your main job.
Yeah.
You thought of one yet?
Adjustments?
Yeah, it don't have to be no huge life decision.
Change
Yeah.
sleep schedule.
Okay, sleep schedule.
schedule.
All right, perfect. And you made that last week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So he kind of gave his away. You made your adjustment. Have
Right.
you made your adjustment?
Yeah.
So the reason why I want to ask this question, and then you go back to leading all the questions.
All right,
but I
got you.
felt the need
You
to
good.
ask this because in fitness and life, we all have this mindset for some reason. I don't know who created this, but it's like you have this thought or this ambition. You're like, oh, I'm going to wait to the first, or I'm going to wait till Monday. When you did that, do you know what day of the week it was?
Tuesday.
What about you?
Oh, it was Monday.
Monday. Did you wait to the first, or was it any day after the first of the month?
It was any day after the first month.
First, or any day after the first of the month? Do you
Any
remember?
day.
So the question I have for, let's go with Jared first. Why did you make the sleep adjustment, and was it worth it?
I made it for one, health reasons. As hard as I want to work, getting 4 hours of sleep is not healthy.
This is going the direction I needed to go. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So-
This is perfect. This is perfect.
So for me, yeah, I needed to make an adjustment, and for me, at the end of the day, the adjustment is simply shutting down at a certain time at night and going to sleep, because I have to wake up early. Like that's my job. I wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning. So if I'm gonna get 6 hours of sleep, I have to be in bed by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Period. So
Yeah.
but sometimes I don't get home until 8:45, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I have an hour to eat, shower, get to sleep.
Mm.
And so to post in the afternoon, to do all of that kind of stuff. Now I have to make another adjustment and figuring out how I get that done before the evening. But the first adjustment I needed to make was sleep. Do that first. So, yeah, it's been worth it. I feel more
I love it.
energized, able to wake up better.
Okay.
Able to typically, so before I did that, I was actually having to take a nap, like a
That
hour
power
nap
Mm.
in the morning. But for me, mentally, that breaks me down because I feel like I'm not getting enough done in the day. If I wake up at 5, I need to go.
Yeah.
I need to get as much done as I can, and I feel more productive if I do that. But if I only get 3 to 4 hours of sleep, like
That's real.
then I got to look at myself in the mirror, like, okay, do you want your body to start breaking down? So
That's real.
I had to make that adjustment, and it's
What time you go to sleep
on
as of now?
as of now, I'm
During
in
the
bed by 10.
By 10. Okay. I vow now, Chris Green, to not call Jared after 10 o'clock no more. All right, leading on to Christian. Christian, you said it wasn't on the first that you remember, and it wasn't on a Monday. It was on a Tuesday. What made you make that a huge adjustment?
Man, I have plenty of reasons why, but just to keep it a little bit more for myself, it was growth, mental health. It was a whole bunch of different contributing factors, and for both of y'all that I've talked to about like this past year, me trying to be on more of a spiritual journey and trying to grow myself as a person, whether it's here at Mean Green, outside, religiously, professional, whatever. I was not getting any of those things from that job. It was bringing out a side of me that was not me, more angry side, everything else. You see me at the gym, I'm smiling, I'm happy, I'm
Yeah.
over here cracking jokes, I'm being myself. I was not being myself at that job. It was
That's real.
something that I had to really think about, like, man, the job, is paying me real good, but it's wear and tearing me. It's taking a lot out of me. I'm treating other people that I really care about horribly.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Like, regardless of the money, regardless of the position that I have right now, all this other stuff, I'm applying for other places and different other stuff. And, man, in God's good grace, man, he has perfect timing.
Yeah.
Not just perfect timing for what his plan is going in for us.
Yeah.
So whenever, I prayed a lot about it, did whatever I needed to do, talked to him, and I said, just tell me what I need to do right now. I'm going to give you this. Whatever you say, I'm going to do it, everything. Voice in the back of my head, just tomorrow, leave. Put in your notice, and it ended up helping out for the best play. I got another offer for that. But at the same time, I had finished my courses for here, being on board. I'm starting to pick up everything else, everything. And then some other things playing into effect. And, short answer, it was because it was not letting me be me.
I like that.
Yep.
So if I was to rewind the tape, Jared made an adjustment because his health, long story short, right? Christian, more so for his mental health, as well as some spiritual growth, I would call it.
Yes, sir.
Spiritual growth.
Yes, sir.
I love the direction it just went. And mine was emotional.
Mm.
So with the three different, without me going through the emotional story, with those three different sequences, the question I have for you, bro, and sis, are you dealing with anything emotionally or with your mental health or with your body, with your health, or even spiritually, that you haven't made an adjustment? Because if you don't make it, everything we just mentioned, you're now putting on the battlefield.
Yep.
If you don't take care of your emotions, man, that's a rough place to be.
Yeah.
Man, that's a rough place to be, is to live and operate out of your emotions. And what I mean by that is it's kind of like buying a car, right? I love cars, right? You know the car I really like? It's this it's the four-door Porsche. It's the four-door car, sedan car. I can't think of the name of it. Anywho, I really love the car, right? But I don't love the price. But if I go to the dealership right now, they probably going to be like, ooh, I get you good trade-in value. Mm-hmm. And they're going to really try to talk to me from an emotional place.
Yep.
But buying that car today would not put me in the best position in my household and everything else. But what makes sense is, no, I don't need that car. It doesn't do anything that I need for it to do for my business, for my family, or anything else. Right. But my emotions would tell me they're going to be looking at you at the stoplight. So it's not right for me to make that decisions based into my emotions. And that's what I ran into it this last week. Like, I was really at a place where I was like, you know what, today's the day. I did it on Thursday, Thursday morning, the last day on our trip. I was like, nope. Boom, I started right then. I made the adjustment. Yeah. And same thing with Christian and the same thing with Jared, man. Like, can you imagine? Because all of us have been, if you're honest. Can you imagine being at a dangerous place mentally that's not healthy for you? You're putting that on the battlefield if you don't make that adjustment that you need to make. Same thing for Jared, man. Your health, think about that. It's a lot of things in life you can buy. Right. The richest man got some dough, or woman, she got some dough. But she can't buy great health.
Yep.
So, like, are we going to put all those things on the battle line to allow ourselves, which has all the authority to make or to not make the adjustment? So my encouragement for everybody, man, hopefully we're just vessels today that share our story to encourage you, man. But for those that are online, I want to see some commitments.
Oh, yeah.
Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumb up if you're going to make an adjustment. You don't got to tell us the adjustment. We just want to know that this is falling on great ground. Give us a thumbs up if you're going to make an adjustment. Hell, give me a thumbs down if you're like, nope. I'm not making an adjustment still. But I wanted to share that, man. I thought that was interesting, the attachments to the adjustments.
Oh, man, yeah. Overall, with the adjustment thing, it's a big call. Like, it's calling, it can change your whole morning, afternoon, a year, what you got from now and whatever. But, I mean, those good adjustments just make you feel so good. It makes you feel like you walked in, I got weight off my back. Mm-hmm. I'm able to sleep at night. I'm able to, go outside smell the fresh air, feel the cool breeze. Not too much here in Texas sometimes, but
not too bad today.
not too bad, man. The weather's been really good, but like you're able to feel that, and I'm telling you, man, like some of those adjustments, besides the one that I did like about 2 weeks ago, it's been to where like that feeling within the season of storm, man. You see a rainbow after a thunderstorm over here, especially here in Houston. You see that rainbow, you're like, man, thank God.
Feel refreshed.
Like it's over, it's done. I'm happy I did that, or the lesson that you get behind it. You know, not everything is gonna be a curse. Not everything is gonna like knock you down. It could be a lesson or a blessing.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing I do, and I encourage some people too to do affirmations like in the morning.
Absolutely.
Like that's one thing I look at day to day thing. It's like not everything is bad. It could be a lesson or it could be a blessing that you could be able to come from.
That's real.
And it's you speak life, not
That's
death.
real. I like that.
You speak life, not death. So,
That's real.
yeah, man.
For those that are watching, light bulb.
Light bulb.
That's what that is, guys. It's a light bulb. Jared, this one's interesting because you've been on every single episode. I know.
I was like, someone knocking?
I wanted to do this, but it wouldn't look at all like
Ding.
a light bulb. My light bulb. We talked about all these adjustments in the last couple of weeks. As we finish this one up, man, probably within 5-10 minutes. What happens when you make an adjustment and it doesn't work out?
Oof.
We've talked about all the success and all the plus of making an adjustment.
Yo.
But, man, I've made adjustments and it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a reality.
Yep.
There's every risk is a reward on the opposite end, but it is a risk to get to the reward. I would like to ask Jared in this order, and we'll make it short and choppy for you guys. Jared and Cristian, the question I have is like, what adjustment did you make and it didn't work?
Man, it has to be me first. Y'all know, man. Adjustment I made that didn't work.
Tough question.
It is because it's so hard to see.
I'll give you one. You want me to give you one?
Yeah,
Can I say names?
sure.
All right. He said sure.
Uh-oh.
Shout out to Apple Simmons. If anybody know Apple Simmons, like, tag her. No. You know what? Don't tag her. Apple Simmons was my first girlfriend. And I made an adjustment that I didn't want her to be my girlfriend no more. I was in the 5th grade.
Oh my God. I was in the 5th grade.
Keep going, big dog. Keep going.
I'm serious. I was in 5th grade. I decided, then my next girlfriend, her name was Brandy, then Allison, Jessie. I can go on and on about some of the girlfriends I've had, but I made adjustments. And when I was dating them, when I dated Apple, I thought she was the one, and it didn't go the direction I wanted it to go. But I made an adjustment. But I'm going to come back to my point, but my adjustment was I dated a girl named Apple Simmons, and my adjustment was that we weren't going to be together. But initially, I thought she was the one.
Right.
Now going back to one of you fellas, did any of you ever make an adjustment that didn't work out?
All right. Let me hold on. I had a couple, but then I'm trying to narrow them down in my head.
Did the name throw you off?
You at least got a couple.
Yeah, he said. Man, this is a hard one. I would have to be relatable to you,
All right.
because I would have to say
Oh, snap.
I'm not gonna drop names, because for people that know, will know. And
You got to
that's
pick something
that.
different.
Oh, man.
I went the relationship route.
Oh, man. Okay, I'll pick something else. Job-wise.
Okay.
Job-wise. The job that I just quit, I made a huge adjustment, and it was the fact of being like, the job before that was sending me out of town, working away, I'm missing everything. Finally got this opportunity. Wow, great job. I get to work from home. Boom, later on, the atmosphere was horrible. I was more depressed and upset being in that establishment than I was at my previous job.
So you made the adjustment at your previous job, all right? And then when you made that adjustment, what did you do? Because is what happened after? Okay, leave it there. 'Cause
Okay.
I got to finish mine.
I got you.
All right, you got one. We're going to wrap it up after this one, guys.
Okay, I got you, AJ.
Let me tell y'all the truth, Jerry. When your hair look that good, dog,
I'm saying, man.
every adjustment you make is really, it works
I'm
out.
saying.
It just works out.
That boy can take out his braids right now, still look good with his hair. Just
I told him when I seen him Friday, I was like, bro, you got to do a video where you do like this.
just that out of the water.
But the hair got to go slow-mo.
Head and Shoulders sponsor this man.
Yeah.
He needs it.
Just trying to get a little bit more personal because I don't like, like you said earlier, we talked about sports and football. We talked
Trying
about
to do something different.
Yeah, just trying to do something different. So trying to dig a little bit deeper into, where I've been, what I've done. So
I'll get you one. You got one? Because I got to ask you a question. I bet you answer.
Okay.
You got one?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
What did you do in business this past year that didn't work for marketing?
This past year. Dang, you thinking about something. See, this is why I'm bad. Don't put me on camera and ask me questions, y'all. I'm bad at it.
What marketing idea did you have this year and you tried it and it didn't go the way that you wanted it to go?
What are you thinking about? There's been a lot that hasn't
Can I
worked.
say it?
Yeah.
All right, so we were talking this past week because we had an update on a software.
Mm-hmm.
And he had, correct me if I'm wrong, you had created QR codes and some links on business cards, or even did the same thing with a trainer that was on a team at the time where you made specific cards and you put money into it for it to be able to explore the world so they can, but wasn't able to explore the world, right? Because I'll let you finish it.
Oh, because there was an update in the system that screwed up the QR code. So now what's on there is essentially false advertisement.
Perfect. All right. So Jared's adjustment that he made, remember the adjustment was, I'm going to do some marketing. I'm going to create a QR code and people are going to scan it and then sign up. That was the idea. He made that adjustment, but it didn't work out.
Correct.
All right. All right. Everybody got all of them. This is the thing about all three of them. Just my point of view, Cristian.
Go ahead.
If I would have stuck with Apple Simmons, I would have never had Christopher and Caleb.
True.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So some of us get so caught on to like, so what, the link didn't work out no more, man. I bet you he find a different way to find someone else to come to boot camp, and it makes adjustment. I guarantee you, Cristian, the job that it didn't work out, the adjustment that he's making now, what if this is the job that worked out? What if this is a job to decide, hey, you know what? Instead of paying him 2.4, we're gonna pay him 4.8 million, right? Ooh. Can I get a hallelujah, right?
There you go.
So
let's go.
What I'm getting to, man, I'm joking around and I dug a little bit around to have some fun with it, but I don't want anybody to take my approach and my philosophy to say, hey, Chris said make an adjustment is always gonna work out. No, I'm not saying that. Like, you're gonna make adjustments, but what I will say is kind of like dating, the one I'm using. If the person that you date the very first time worked out, like, think about that.
Yeah.
For all my married folk, the person that you first dated, the one you can remember, the very first, what if that would have worked out? You know what I mean? You see all these heads shaking, you know what I mean? So
made a dig back.
Yeah. So just don't get caught on not making adjustments because of the outcome, man. You have to make adjustments, and that's the way you get exposure, and that's the way that you get to learn and love and earn and retaliate sometimes. So that's all I have for this week, man.
Lessons and blessings, man. That's what it is.
Dropping gems on it. Lessons of blessings. Put that on a shirt.
That's it. Hey, I might.
Well, I do want to remind people about the flag football.
Yeah.
So
go.
Is this Saturday?
It's Saturday.
At 3 p.m.
Yeah.
We're going to be in the Heights area,
Yeah.
right?
Forest Park.
What's the name of it again?
Oak Forest.
In
Forest.
Garden Oaks area. For those that are Mean Green, because I've had people that hit us up. It wasn't part of Mean Green. They wanted to play flag football. I told them they can come and donate, but You know, it's
Mean
kind of
Green,
a mean
yeah.
green thing.
Yeah.
I had one gym. I actually wanted to say yes. So shout out to
Oh,
my
they wanted
peeps.
to play against.
They wanted to play. They wanted to bring their gym versus our gym.
They
That-
were ready.
that-
Hey, ready.
They were ready.
Hey, ready.
I don't know who that gym
Alex,
was.
hey, they ain't ready.
I'll let you know off camera. Yeah, so this Thursday, guys, I don't know if we're going to put it at the bottom of this video, of this podcast, but you definitely, for those members, you'll see it reoccurring on the member app. Please, guys, don't wait to Thursday and say, hey, I want to play, because the
Yeah.
draft is Thursday. So please go to the link if you haven't already. Submit your information so we can get drafted.
Please.
I think that's it, man.
We won last year, right? We were all on one
yeah.
team. We
Oh,
won
we're
last
all
year.
on the same team?
We were all on the same team. We won last
Think-
year.
Just because we said that, it's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. We knew that wasn't going to
Yeah,
happen.
Who's
Yeah.
drafting? Is Alex Walker?
Alex Walker,
Faye,
Faye.
and
Eric?
oh, we said
I
Walker.
felt bad. I don't know.
No, don't I feel horrible? Alex,
Alex
Walker,
Faye.
Faye,
Harmony?
Harmony.
Harmony.
All right. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, man. But the overall theme, man, is for breast cancer awareness. And we just want to bring awareness and
Absolutely.
do our part and enroll.
Yep.
If you can't come and you just want to buy a T-shirt, if you haven't bought one, thank you if you have. If you haven't, contact the handsome guy to my right. And
Okay.
we'll have a couple more things leading up at the end of the month that we'll remind you guys with. So other than that, we are out of here unless you ask that question, the boom question. You said you had a boom, drop the mic question. Did you ask it already? You forgot.
Man, I forgot.
You forgot it.
I forgot it.
Well, that means he's just going to have to come back to the show again.
If y'all want me to, y'all give a thumbs up. Tell Chris
Okay.
y'all want me to.
If
come
y'all
back.
want Christian to come back, this is the only way we bring you back, bro.
Uh-oh.
You have to get 5 people
5 people.
to comment on the YouTube video and say Christian was dope.
Okay.
5 people. 5 people.
He's gonna hit me with 500. I'm going, whew. I don't even know how 500 people, but I'll start texting and calling.
5
Ding.
people.
Yeah.
But no, Christian, thank you for coming, man. We
Appreciate y'all having me, boys, man.
Next week, we're setting up something special.
Yep.
We want to talk more about the last week of adjustments. So we want to bring somebody in and interview them on their adjustments within Mean Green.
Let's
That
go.
person name is...
What's that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, did the audio not
Got
work?
it. Got it.
Is
got
it the audio?
Got it.
Are
It's
we
cutting
having,
out, big
is the
dog.
audio cutting out?
Cutting out, man.
I'm sorry, guys. We love y'all. We see y'all soon.
Peace.